But the thief suddenly threatens her as he reveals he knows she isn't blind, causing the wife to rush back to her husband and finally have a breakdown. The thief can't stand the pain anymore, and waiting for things to end naturally is just an exercise in agony, so he drags his body outside and lets the soldiers shoot him. The doctor's wife feels guilty and begins wondering if she should tell everyone the truth, but the doctor forbids her to do it. He also expresses his worry over the fact their relationship has become something more like a nurse and a patient instead of a marriage. Sometime later, the bartender manages to find the asylum's administrative office with the help of the accountant, a fellow Ward 3 member that has been blind since he was born, meaning he has a better grasp of how to live like this. Using the PA system, the bartender announces he'll take control of the whole asylum as its king, and the first new rule is that people will have to pay for their food. This rule isn't well received, and soon there's chaos near the food storage as everyone fights to get access, so the bartender reveals his secret card. He managed to keep a handgun with him when he was brought to the asylum. With a warning shot, he sends everyone back and takes control of the food storage, announcing they'll be guarding it all day long and threatening to shoot anyone that tries to steal. Some people consider not playing along, but it's too dangerous when the enemy has a weapon. The doctor's wife begins collecting everything she can from the people in her ward, from jewelry that includes wedding rings to anything that they can find in their pockets, although she keeps a pair of scissors that she finds in a woman's bag. The kid doesn't have anything to offer, but Sunglasses Woman has become his surrogate mother and promises to pay for him. At the food storage, the accountant is using his experience to identify the quality of the objects they're brought by touching them. No matter how expensive the jewelry is though, the bartender only assigns a couple of boxes per ward and threatens anyone that dares to complain. People find themselves having to share one-person meals, and the doctor keeps to himself, not in the mood to keep his leadership kindness up when he feels like a failure. Sunglasses Woman approaches him to comfort him, reminding him there's nothing he can do against a gun, and the two of them end up getting frisky on the floor. The doctor's wife finds them while they're finishing, but instead of making a scene, she tells Sunglasses Woman that she can see, asking her to keep the secret and letting her own guilt do the rest. A week later, once everyone in the asylum has run out of things to pay with, the bartender announces that they'll take service from women in exchange for food. The doctor's wife goes outside to demand to know why new rations haven't arrived, and the soldiers explain they've given them all they have, so rationing is up to them. An argument begins around Ward 1 deciding on how to proceed, and the doctor cuts it short, pointing out it's not up to them to make the women do anything. If anyone wants to volunteer, it's up to them, but there won't be any judging or pressure from anyone else. After lots of thinking, one of the women finally volunteers, inspiring others like the doctor's wife and Sunglasses Women to do the same. Businessman doesn't want his wife to go and tries to forbid it, but the wife reminds him she shouldn't be treated any differently and goes anyway. The accountant comes to pick the women up and takes them to the food storage room, where they have the worst night of their lives. The guys are vicious and violent, and one of them goes so far with the manhandling that he kills one of the women. In the morning, the doctor's wife asks for someone else to go and pick up the food because the women have come back with the body in their hands, ready to clean her up and give her the goodbye she deserves. Later that day, the accountant checks a different ward for more volunteers, and he even has the nerve to come to Ward 1 to congratulate them on a job well done, even if one of them didn't move much. It seems they don't know one of the women had been dead and they used her anyway, so the doctor's wife informs him of this, leaving him speechless. All this taunting finally makes the doctor's wife snap and takes the scissors with her to the storage room, where everyone is distracted by the women from Ward 2. Without hesitation, she kills the bartender with the scissors before dragging the girls with her while the accountant realizes what has happened and retrieves the gun, but none of his shots land. On her way out, the doctor's wife makes an announcement of her own. If they don't release the food, more men will die. Now it's her who will be collecting. The doctor worries this will start a war, and he's right. Ward 3 barricades the area and still doesn't release the food. Ward 1 gets ready to fight and recover what is theirs, but before they can do anything, one of the women decides to take revenge. It turns out she's kept a lighter hidden in her pocket all this time, and she uses it to sneak into Ward 3 and start a fire. The flames are quick to spread, killing many men, and before panic can take over, the doctor's wife guides them out of the building. Surprisingly, nobody gets shot because the guards aren't even in their towers anymore. The doors aren't locked either, which can only mean one thing: they're finally free. The doctor, his wife, the kid, eye patch man, Sunglasses Woman, the businessman, and his wife decide to stick together as they make their way downtown, where they discover society has collapsed. The city has become a post-apocalyptic wasteland where the few people left wander around as they try to survive, attacking each other if they even suspect there can be food in their pockets. Some animals are even feeding on bodies. The doctor and his wife leave the group hidden inside a bar while they go to the nearest market to see if they can find some food. The people there are grasping at the few things that are left on the shelves, but the doctor's wife can see and is able to find a set of stairs that takes her to a storage room while the doctor gathers clothes. After filling a few bags, the wife tries to make her way out, but the people there hear the noise the things in her bags make and jump on her to rob her. Fortunately, the doctor hears this and comes to help, pushing everyone away and putting himself between the crowd and his wife as a shield as they run out of the building. Once they're far enough, the wife takes a moment to get herself together while the doctor goes back to retrieve the clothes he had dropped on their way out, and a cute dog takes the chance to come closer and befriend her. Suddenly, to everyone's surprise, it begins raining, and the wife takes the dog with her inside a church to wait for her husband under a dry roof. The church is incredibly crowded and all the statues have had their eyes covered, yet a priest won't stop promoting the word of God. Outside, people are taking the chance to collect water and wash their bodies since they hadn't had clean water in a long time. The doctor comes back with the clothes and picks up his wife to rejoin the group with the dog following them, becoming their new companion. The group eats some rations inside the bar and decides to stay the night there to rest properly. Then in the morning, they go out again, carefully walking through the city to reach the house of the doctor and his wife, who have offered to share it with everyone. From then on, the group manages to establish a routine. With the guidance of the wife's sight, they clean the apartment and share the doctor's clothes, they only go out when they need to find food, and they collect water and wash whenever it rains. Eye Patch Man wishes to live with them forever because they've become a family, and the businessman's wife finally reconnects with her husband, sharing some memories of their young days as well. The doctor and his wife also get to reconnect, and now that she isn't overwhelmed with stress anymore, she accepts to get frisky with him again. Weeks later, everyone is getting ready for breakfast when the businessman suddenly starts yelling. In the same abrupt way blindness had come to him, it is now gone and he can see again. Everyone starts celebrating as they understand their bodies can fight off the disease and blindness is temporary, which means hope is back on the table for their futures. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.